You can go to Google, and then you can confirm it, man.
Yeah.
Like earlier, I was going into like I was going over the Daniel 11 chapter breakdown. Which if somebody came up and just asked me, what does that verse? I don't know, because there's so many different names and dates and other events. So you just can't, there's certain breakdowns that you just can't look at and say that means this and this means that. And then even if you said it, when you tell it to the people, who's that guy? Who's this guy? Therefore, you have to study. Okay? Now, I was going into Ptolemy the first Sada. And then I was going into his son, Ptolemy the second, Philadelphus, and that was during the time that when it was his father, Ptolemy the first, that actually took down Egypt. Since you guys are all into that Egypt bullshit, man, all right. When it was taken down, when the black so-called Africans, Egyptians, Kemet people. And by the way, when you look up the word Kemet, you go to the etymology online dictionary or dictionary online, and you put in the word Kemet, it leads you back to the word Egypt. Then it leads you back to the word, they said the Ishmaelites called the Kemetic people Mizri, which goes back to the biblical word Mizraim. And the word Egypt, and I looked up the word Egypt, and the word means, it doesn't even mean bondage. Because for years, brother, it means bondage. It's equated with the word bondage. The word is like in Greek, the Greek term is Egyptus, which is an actual Greek way of saying the actual so-called Kemetic word. And it means place of the souls or something like that. So you got to go into those words. You have spare time, you go into those words. Matter of fact, I got it on my hard drive. I'm bring it up.
God. And that's what scriptures like this are written. It's back in Ecclesiastes 12 and 11. The words of the wise are as goads and as nails fastened by the masters of assemblies. In other words, it won't move. Right? Which are given from one shepherd, because the one shepherd is who? Yahweh Shai, that's given us this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. You know, and then you like you got this guy Sarnetta, you know, he goes with the wind.
You can't get mad at him. He doesn't know what's going on. You know, he's a kid. He don't know what's going on. You know, he's a kid. Mentally, he's a kid. That's why he jumped from this thing to that thing. He don't know what's going on.
That's right, because
he's not settled. He's not settled.
Yeah, because you know why? Because there's no foundation there. You know why? Because really, his whole thing is about making money. That's right. And he doesn't care how he makes the money. All he knows, he'll see something. See, his mind, every time he sees whatever knowledge is out there, whatever, all he sees is dollar bills. So when he sees Yeshayahu, he sees the Hebrew Israelites, and he sees the Kemis, he knows that like Elder Apostle Tahar said weeks back or months back, he said, you know, there's only so many times the Egyptian can battle or debate Islamic person. You know, so they people get tired of that. So he's trying to find out what's the next hustle that I can get. So he saw opportunity with the Hebrew Israelites. So he got that in there with Tazariak, you know, General Tazariak with Polite. You know, and that started that whole thing about that debate.
But now all those guys are running from a man with the shitlock coming out of the side of his head. Oh. He's looking for them guys, man. He's looking for Tazariak. He's looking for all them guys, man.
Shaka Utmost.
Yeah, Shaka Utmost.
You know? So basically, you know, like we said before, you know, the knowledge, this knowledge here, if you're part of the elect, once this knowledge enters into you, you find that foundation. That foundation is Yahweh Shai. And once you get that foundation, you're going to be like a rock. You're not going to move. You're not going to be moved. You know, that's why you like I was using Sanet as an example, that he goes with the latest thing, you know, because of the fact is that he has no root, he has no ground, he's not grounded. That's why he'll find whatever, and then really, like I said, he's all about making that money. But anyway, this scripture says, it continues on, it says, and further by these my son be admonished, means be corrected. It says, of making many books there is no end. Because why? Because even to this very day, there's books being made. When you go back in the history, Apostle Tahar just mentioned Ptolemy the First. What did they do? Alexander, the Creep, which they call the Great, he built a library in Alexandria, right? Which that library in Alexandria, what they did was they took all the records of all the nations around the world and translated those records that they had into the Greek language and put it in scrolls inside of the library of Alexandria. You know, even the books of our laws, they had the Israelites. I believe it was 12 men from each tribe. No, I'm sorry, it was less than that. In other words, it was like 70 or 72 priests altogether from each of the tribes. They came down to Egypt. They translated the Torah and the Tanakh, you know, and all the books of the Old Testament into the Greek language, and they took that and put it into the library of Alexandria. You know, so that was back then. So now, how many more books have been written from that time until now? And back then, they had many thousands of books that were in that library. So books are being constantly written. Books are being constantly brought out. Men's wisdom or philosophy or whatever they feel that God is or whatever, they keep writing that stuff down on paper. But if you have no foundation, you're going to read these things and be confused. That's why King Solomon said, and this is something that he wrote to his son, Rehoboam, which was in turn given to us in these times, because the Lord said that the things that were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through comfort and patience of the scriptures might have hope. Right? And it says, and further by these, my son, be admonished, of making many books there is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh. You know, and that's why your eyes will go dim. That's why your head will start hurting. You'll get stress headaches. You get all, you know, you can drop dead just from studying. You know, you're overwhelming your body. Only so much this body can take, because it's corruptible. It falls apart. It says, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. So what's the conclusion of the whole matter? Does it matter if you have a whole room or rooms or mansion full of books that you've studied that you can call off the top of your head? Or is there one thing that you can do, you know, to best all of that? Let's find out. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man, of the Israelite man. The whole duty of the Israelite man is to keep the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai to the best of your ability. And everything else will be given to you.
And hope for salvation.
And hope for salvation, because that's the main thing. The main thing is salvation. Why are we doing what we're doing? Because we're hoping at the end of this thing we'll get a reward. What did Peter say? When they gave up everything and followed Yahushai, what did Peter? Did they just say, you know what, we're just going to follow the Lord because He called us and, you know, we were compelled to follow Him, and that's that. We're just going to follow Him no matter what. No, Peter asked a question, and this is what Peter asked the Lord. This is Matthew 19:27. Then answered Peter and said unto him, behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? So in other words, what's going to be the reward for us giving up our lives? Because they gave up their lives. They gave up everything. They gave up their business. They gave up their families. They gave up the whatever status quo they had. They gave that up. And I'll give you an example. Paul, being a Pharisee, he was a top man. He was learned under a very prestigious teacher, which was Gamaliel. So he had prestige. But what did he say? He said he counted everything dung to win the love of Yahushai. So that's the main thing. What's the reward? The reward is salvation. You gave up everything, but don't worry, because at the end of that, if you remain faithful, you will be delivered. You will be saved. And that's the main message out there. And it's only for the elect. You have, first of all, you have to be an Israelite, and second of all, you have to be part of the elect. All right? So that's why it says, and Yahushua said unto them, verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of His glory, you also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. And basically, you're going to receive everything that you gave up in this life. You're going to receive it double, triple, quadruple, 100-fold. All right? And that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, that means if you don't take breaks, like certain people that we know. Okay?
Which Which basically this leads onto the topic, because the topic is what? Family, women, concubines, and other topics. You know, because part of this knowledge is sometimes you have to give up something in order to receive something else, a benefit. You know, in order for you to receive a spiritual benefit, sometimes you have to sacrifice. You know?
Hey, I got a scripture. This is the last book of St. John, which is, I'll give you the exact chapter, 21st chapter.